You're listening to the Spirit Podcast.
Hi, friends, and welcome to the Spirit. I'm Beck.
And I'm Steph.
Hi, Steph. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm hanging in there, Steph. I'm hanging in. I'm waiting for spring to spring up.
Everyone is. I feel like it's not been a bad winter, though.
No, it hasn't. I can't complain. And I'm a little worried that our summer's going to be blistering. But I'm really looking forward to having some, 60-degree days?
Yeah, I think at one point it's going to get over 60. Wednesday or Thursday is going to be the good day.
The crescendo of maybe wearing shorts.
Though I still don't. I can wear jeans in like 95-degree
Yeah, I
weather.
know. You're weird like that. I
like T-shirts, but
Yeah.
I'm just not into showing my legs.
Yeah, we'll see.
They look like two white, pale, weird-looking candlesticks.
Maybe I need to get you some culottes.
I have sort of like culotte-ish, like, because when I go play tennis, I put on my like culottes.
Yeah. Maybe you need to be like Barb and Star, go to Vista Del Mar, and they have an array of culottes. Kristen Wiig, they have a whole suitcase full of culottes for every occasion.
It's like every old person's outfit that I remember as a child growing up.
Exactly. That's what is hilarious about it, is because they're not really old. They're like our age.
Yeah, I have a pair of like jogging pants. They're kind of like gauchos. Or culotte-ish. It's like a culotte gaucho. Gives me enough coverage.
Today's show, we're going to talk about false memories, reality shifts, alternate and parallel universes, CERN, a tear in the space-time continuum, a failure of a collective memory, false memories.
I've had a few false memories. Have you?
I think we all do as human beings. I think it's just human nature to have false memories.
It's hard sometimes to remember things in the past, but I have this dream that I would have where I swore that our family owned a camper and we used to use it.
I remember this.
I would tell my mom, no, we had this. I was in it, and I would just drive her crazy about this. We were kind of like thinking, oh, is this like past life or whatever?
Yes, we talked about that in Rachel's episode.
Yeah, so that really stuck with me for a long time as a child. I had a hard time wrestling with that. The other one that happened to me is kind of funny because I couldn't distinguish if it ever happened for real or if it was a dream. I couldn't remember if it was a dream, but I had this next door neighbor who wore a lot of makeup. She wasn't an ugly woman, so she didn't even need all this makeup, but she'd have like that silvery eyeshadow that was like really, really bad. And this is my false memory, is that I told her it looked terrible and made some sort of weird joke about it in front of her.
Sure, it wasn't just a daydream.
I don't know. That's where I can't recall where the thought came from. But when all of a sudden I had the thought, like, did I actually say that to her? Did I dream about it? I can't remember dreaming about it, but I had this very strong memory stuck in my head as a kid. And I was so afraid that I actually said it to her that I avoided her after that from now on.
Wow. Well, a false memory is a fabricated or distorted recollection of an event. Such memories may be entirely false and imaginary. In other cases, they may contain elements of fact that have been distorted by interfering information or other memory distortions. Now, there's collective false memories.
Yeah, and that's what they call the Mandela Effect.
That's right.
Okay.
Fiona Brooms popularized the name of Mandela Effect in 2010 after she met some people at Dragon Con in 2009 to 10 who were sure that he died in the 1980s. That would be Mandela. The idea of group false memories had been around in various forms. However, and as it turns out, the Mandela example had too. Although the term went viral, this is one familiar to everyone now. There's a scientific term for it, mass memory discrepancy effect, or MMDE. This covers me, as well as wider instances of group false memory, such as deliberate propaganda, mass brainwashing via advertising, etc. Mandela Effect. There is massive lists of things that we can talk about with that. And one thing in particular is the Bible. A scientist told his friend to read a specific portion of the King James Bible every week. And after a few weeks, he asked his friend, "Did you not see a strange change in the Bible verses?" And she said no. Then he tried to bring it to the attention of a priest who had known this person for 20 years in the church. He was sending him changes every time, and he was surprised that each version of the Bible had different words. He just got out and told him that it wasn't about that, and said that he witnessed how one of the words in the Bible had changed from one week to the next.
So he's been consistently reading it, and then through that consistently reading it, then all of a sudden he notices a change.
Yeah.
That's really weird.
It is really weird. There's a lot of examples in the Bible where words have changed. When you go through the Mandela Effect, and I know this has been done before, we're not the first ones covering this. This has already been covered for years. But when you go through some of the examples, there are definitive examples where I certainly remember it that way. And when the correct way is provided, or the new version, I am blown away. Because there are certain things that your soul just knows.
So what is some of the hypotheses of
The Mandela?
What is actually happening? Is there a real change because something shifted?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of different hypotheses that we're in an alternate universe, that we're all experiencing false memories, which is weird on a mass collective. How can all of us be experiencing the same shift? How could we all be remembering that wrong?
The things that they reference are always these cultural, highly known things. And so maybe that's why they're so noticeable, because everyone knows about it. But
there's this one kid on YouTube. He's a young kid. He's a little genius. And his father had talked to him in regards to alternate realities, alternate universes, and things like that. And this kid's theory was so amazing to me. And he's a young kid. He had to have been like 12 years old. And he believes that CERN, when CERN launched, he believes that whatever they did shifted us into another paradigm.
Wow, I don't understand any of that.
Well,
but I kind of understand it. But it's weird because if we're getting glimpses of something that we really believe was there, and then we go to look and it's not there anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And that's millions of people. It's not just like you and me. Oh yeah, we remembered the wrong song lyrics. It's not like that.
Yeah.
So obviously we know about Mandela.
Mm-hmm.
Did you think that he died in prison?
No.
That's
the one that I didn't have, because I specifically remember watching his funeral and I never questioned it.
Let's go through some. Berenstein or Berenstain Bears?
I always thought it was the Berenstain Bears. I didn't ever, when they said it was Berenstain, I was like, really? That's
There you go. Another one. Interview with a Vampire or The Vampire? No.
I know.
I know. See? So I'm saying, Forrest Gump, life is or life was like a box of chocolates?
Life is.
Wrong.
Yeah.
How can we all believe this to be, I don't understand how it could be so mass distorted. Because we have friends that are know-it-alls.
Yeah, no one corrects you on it.
Snow White, Mirror, Mirror, or Magic Mirror?
I always thought it was Mirror, Mirror.
Wrong.
Yeah.
Magic Mirror. Star Wars, No or Luke, I am your father?
Well, everyone repeats it as Luke, I am your father. And that's the only one I know for sure has been fake all these years, is because I remember.
Has it been fake, though?
Yeah.
Or has something changed? And we're noticing because you said, why is it culturally? Why is it pop culture?
Well, why would something as small as that make a shift? Why not something?
No, it's not that those small things made a shift. It's that there was a shift where we were maybe shifted over to a parallel universe. And when we shifted over, there's minor changes. Think of Bizarro World.
Okay.
Like if we mirrored our Earth, everything looks almost the same, but there are some things that are different. And they're little things. And the only reason that we know this is because we all collectively think, no, it was life is like a box of chocolates, not was. Wizard of Oz, Scarecrow had a gun?
You're saying the Scarecrow had a gun? No, I don't remember the Scarecrow with a gun.
The Scarecrow had a gun.
I don't remember that.
The alternate was the Scarecrow did not have a gun. So you're remembering what we're all remembering. And the current is that the Scarecrow had a gun in the movie. And here's an actual photo of it.
When did he? That's so weird.
See, this is what I'm saying. This is mind-blowing. I'm going to tell you one of mine that really blew me away. And Steph can vouch for this, I love music. Music is my passion since I was a child. My family is musicians. When I hear music and lyrics and I love a song, I sing that song over and over. And when Queen, We Are the Champions, that's one of these Mandela effects. I always remember of the world,
yeah.
that does not exist. And I'm claiming bullshit. Either there's a massive conspiracy and they've pulled these things out, or we had a shift. Something happened.
That to me is, I hear that song all the time on the radio.
And it's not in
They
there.
play Queen all the time
Yeah.
in classic rock. It's got to be on there.
It's not. Is it depend or depends underwear?
Depends.
Answer is depend.
That's so weird.
Right. Looney Tunes, Toon, or Looney Tunes, Tune.
The first one?
Looney Tunes, like cartoons, Toons. That's incorrect. It is Looney, Tunes, like a tune.
Like a tune. Wow.
Fruit Loops or Fruit Loops. And the fruit would be, original spelling would be RUIT or FROOT. Fruit, as in FROOT loops.
I don't know that one, but that one I've never had a set thought on, so I would probably go with the OO.
That's current.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Wikipedia says that this cereal was launched in 1962 as FROOT Loops. But several people have seen references to Fruit Loops, and there is some evidence of this on the web. And this could be explained by Kellogg's themselves changing the branding to OO and styled in the form of the cereal. So because it was round in those little O's.
Yeah.
So what's going on here? Okay, we can say marketing on that one. We can say marketing. But is it Rod Sterling or Rod Serling?
I always thought it was Rod Sterling.
And the correct answer is Serling.
Oh, that's so weird.
Jaws. We're or you're going to need a bigger boat?
I always thought it was your.
You're going to need a bigger boat?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
The alternate was we're. Does the Bible say, the lion shall lie down with the lamb? This is up your alley.
Is there an
What
alternative?
Isaiah 11:6. What shall lie down with the lamb?
I thought it was the lion, but
It's the wolf.
the wolf.
The wolf will lie down with the lamb. Shall lie down with the lamb.
Wow.
I never remember the wolf. Not that I was a biblical scholar or anything, but I always remembered
Those
the
are
lion.
those are like common biblical lines that I definitely thought that was a lion. I've quoted that before.
Gorton's or Gordon's fisherman?
I always thought it was Gorton's.
Gortons.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay.
I always heard Gordon's, but it could have been a miss here on that one. E.T. phone home or E.T. home phone.
E.T. phone home, right?
Wrong. They're saying E.T. home phone. Seriously? Seriously. Do you remember being a child of the 80s going E.T. phone home?
Yes.
Sex in the City or Sex and the City?
I always thought Sex and the City.
I remember Sex in, but it is Sex and. I don't know why I always remember Sex in. And I watched that. Jif or Jiffy peanut butter?
I always thought it was Jiffy, but I think it's Jif, though.
It's Jif.
Everyone grew up calling it Jiffy.
Yes, we did. Again, that could have been something like the Fruit Loops, right? Beam me up, Scotty. Did Kirk say it?
I don't know. That's like the Star Trek quote that everyone uses.
And he never said it. Ever. He never said
ever?
No. According to this, this is another Mandela effect. He never said it. Charles Schultz or Charles Schulz? The Peanuts.
I always thought it was Charles Schultz.
Correct. That's what I thought as well. And it is not. It is Schulz. No T. Weird. I do remember Schultz as well. How about Gandhi with an H or Gandhi without an H?
I'm not sure about that one because I never really paid attention to his name, but
There's an H in it.
there's an H.
Currently. Never used to be. People didn't remember that before.
So people have started to write it the way that they thought it was.
Right.
So they're incorrect now if they're writing it with an H.
How about this? Me, Tarzan, you, Jane. You heard that?
From the Tarzan movie,
Right.
but it didn't exist.
No.
That's weird.
Right.
But someone must have said it in another movie.
But this is with everything that we're coming across. People must have said ET home phone.
Like somewhere it got
Flipped.
screwed up and then it's stuck in people's brains more than...
Did the Monopoly man wear a monocle?
I know the peanut guy did.
Right. Hannibal Lecter. Hello, Clarice.
Did he say hello, Clarice? It seems like he did. I mean,
Nope. Never said it.
what did he say, though?
He didn't say it at all.
He never greeted her when she came in.
Never said hello, Clarice.
I know he was getting really deep with her and be like, do you hear the crying of the lambs? Something like that, Clarice.
Yeah.
She's like, Hannibal, please, when you stop doing this now?
How about this one? Toto, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore.
I don't think that was ever said, though.
The current is,
Yeah.
Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
That's the real one?
The current one, the current
current
timeline we're on now, whatever shifted in
Well,
the paradigm.
We already know the Wizard of Oz has a false memory with... I don't ever remember there being a gun. What does a scarecrow need a gun for in a story?
This one's going to blow your mind. This
Okay.
one, this isn't one for me. I mean, there are a lot of these are blowing my mind. Franklin D. Roosevelt. What was his middle name? Do you remember?
Delano?
No, but that's what I would have said. It's Delano.
Delano. That's what I meant. I said
No,
Delano.
Delanor is what we all remember.
Really?
Yes, it's the one everyone is alternating, saying no, it's Delanor.
Is that the male version of Eleanor?
I always remember learning Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Yeah.
It's Delano. Field of Dreams.
Okay.
If you build it, they will come.
That's how I remember it.
100%. That's how I remember it.
Yeah.
It's if you build it, he will come. And I'm assuming they're referencing Shoeless Joe Jackson.
Yeah.
But I remember saying for years, and I still say it, if you build it, they will come.
Mm-hmm.
And also, many of them did come in the movie. It wasn't just him. It was a whole group of baseball spirits.
It's an awesome movie.
It was a great movie. Fred Astaire. Let's call the whole thing off.
That song, like, you say potato.
I say potato,
Okay.
right? Is it you say or you like tomato?
I think it's you like, and then you say in the second verse. That's what I'm thinking. But I think when people repeat it, they always use the verse where they say you say.
Right. You're correct on that. It's you like tomato and I like tomato. Did The Last Supper show the Holy Grail?
I mean, are you talking about Leonardo da Vinci's?
Yeah, the painting. Did it show the Holy Grail?
I don't know. Not really sure about that, but I'm thinking that they must have had some cups on the table.
Okay. Firstly, there's no chalice on the table.
Okay.
And you remember, Jesus told them to drink from it.
Oh, yeah.
It's not there, Steph. It's not
That's
there.
Leonardo da Vinci's fault.
No, it was there before.
What do you mean it was there before? There's got to be
You
another
remember a
painting.
chalice? No. You remember a chalice. I remember a chalice. I remember a table with a spread with bread and a chalice. Nothing.
I'm looking at the painting. It looks like they got lots of cinnamon rolls up there.
Love cinnamon rolls.
That's funny. Ironically, well, this is kind of a grainy picture. Because Leonardo da Vinci's always, his faces always looks similar, and Jesus kind of looks like the Mona Lisa a little bit.
Yeah. But do you find that a little weird?
I guess so. I'm not an art person. I mean, I know some art, but I don't ever recall there being a chalice. I've seen images of chalices, but that doesn't stick out in my memory of knowing that specifically about that painting.
How about Bruce Lee? Do you know how he died? And did he die the same way as his son, Brandon?
I thought he died of a brain aneurysm or something.
Yeah, he died in his sleep. But a lot of people think he died after being shot on set as well, like his son. Do you remember the reindeer names as Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, and Blitzen?
Yes.
You're experiencing the Mandela Effect because Donner is Donder and Blitzen is Blixen.
Wow.
I'm calling bullshit. I think every kid from the 80s growing up knew. We watched Rudolph a million times.
Yep.
So either they messed it up in that movie. I don't know. Captain or Cap'n Crunch?
Cap'n.
Okay, let's see what it is. It is Cap'n, correct. But we say Captain, I think.
Yeah, I've said it Captain, but I was pretty confident that was Captain.
It puts the lotion on its skin.
Okay, that's from Silence of the Lambs, right?
Right. But it's not right.
It puts the lotion in the basket, right?
It rubs the lotion on its
rubs
skin.
Okay.
But I remember it puts the lotion on the skin.
It's one of the best movies.
How did
Put the lotion in the basket.
How did Houdini die? Do you remember?
I don't know. Don't know much about Houdini.
Well, I remember.
I
remember this. So I remember it was recorded that Houdini had died as a result of a freak incident where he was struck in the stomach as a strength test, and it burst his appendix, causing his demise a few days later.
You heard this?
Yeah, I remember.
Okay.
I remember hearing this. But people are saying they remember it differently, and he drowned during one of his stage acts.
I think I've heard that he drowned in a stage act.
And he actually didn't. He did get hit.
Wow.
So I remember the correct version on that. In Michelangelo's Creation of Adam, do you remember this painting? On the Sistine Chapel, I believe.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Where God and
Right.
Adam are touching their fingers together?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you remember if God's hand was above Adam's or God's hand was below Adam's?
I feel like God's hand was above.
Then you're experiencing the Mandela Effect.
Oh my God.
Because God's hand is below Adam's.
Wow. I wonder why it was done that way anyways.
I don't think it was, Steph.
Everything shifted.
I think everything shifted. Doctor Who or DR as in Doctor Who?
I always thought it was DOCTR.
And that would be correct.
Or did I spell that wrong?
So it isn't abbreviated. See, a lot of these are just ridiculous. Like, you would think these are the little cues that something happened. Hellman's mayonnaise. How would you spell Hellman's? With one L or two? And with two N's or one?
I always thought it was 2 L's.
So you thought it was two L's, two N's maybe?
No, just 1 N.
Okay. Well, you're wrong. It's Hellman's with one L, one N. You were
Okay.
right about the N's, not the L's. That's so weird. That's so weird. Play it again, Sam. What's that from?
It's an old movie. Oh, yeah, Casablanca. Okay.
Well, it's not in there.
No.
Never was said. Never happened. Vaseline or Vaseline? Is it with an O or an E?
I think I always thought it was with an O.
That's what we all thought. We're all experiencing the Mandela Effect because there's an E in it, like Vaseline. Vaseline. Elementary, my dear Watson.
Sherlock Holmes.
Never said it.
Really?
He did in the books, but not in the films and the TV series.
Yeah, and I never read the books, but
Me neither.
yeah, that's weird.
Terminator 2. Judgment Day or Judgment Day? With an E or without an E? Judgment.
I have no idea.
Well, apparently it's without the E, which really looks weird.
Judgment.
Yeah. How is that?
How is it different or
Like,
I don't know.
It's incorrect spelling is what that is. Lasagna or lasagna? We got two different spellings here. We have it with an A at the end or an E at the end. Lasagna.
Yeah, Lasagna.
So when you spell lasagna, how do you spell it?
I always spelled it with an A on the end, but
Well, that is correct. Everyone else thought it was with an E, or the alternate would be an E. What color was Tony the Tiger's nose?
was it blue? I don't know now. I think blue. I'm going to stick with blue.
You're correct. Was Hitler addicted to crystal meth?
I know he had some drug issues. I'm not sure what he did. I don't think I've ever heard that one, though.
He was not, but people thought he was addicted to crystal meth. All right, Doc Martens or Doc Martens? INS or ENS? Everyone had those in the 90s.
You said INS or ENS?
Yeah, Doc Martens or Martens?
I guess I would spell it with the INS.
And that would be a Mandela Effect.
Wow.
Is the Statue of Liberty on Ellis or Liberty Island?
I'm guessing because the island that the Statue of Liberty on is pretty small, and Ellis Island took in all of the immigrants, so I'm guessing that it's Liberty Island.
Yeah, you're guessing correctly.
Okay.
But would you have said it was Ellis?
Yeah, I never thought that at all. I just put that together now, but I never really thought about it.
Did Coke Zero as a brand ever exist?
Coke Zero?
Yeah, do you remember Coke
Yeah,
Zero?
I think there's a Coke Zero.
Wrong. It never appeared on cans. Never. It was just zero sugar. Never said Coke Zero on there.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're messing with us.
How about James Bond? Is it the name's Bond, James Bond, or my name is Bond, James Bond?
That I don't specifically know, but I think the first one is the one that everyone thinks.
And that is right. You are correct. That is the Mandela Effect. The name's Bond, James Bond. How about the Frankenstein bolts? Did Frankenstein have neck bolts?
He's portrayed with them in a lot of costumes.
Electrodes.
Electrodes.
They're
okay.
electrodes, not bolts, which is interesting. Were there 6 in the Jackson 5?
All right, let's try to name the Jacksons.
In the Jackson 5. I didn't know all the guys.
There's
I knew Michael.
Tito.
Uh-huh.
Jermaine.
Uh-huh.
Gosh, who's...
You're doing good.
Yeah, I can't remember the... You'll have to fill in the blanks if you got them.
Well, there was 6 in the 5, which is really weird. Randy Jackson appeared with the band many times.
Wait, he's not a real Jackson, though. He's the bass player from...
Journey?
Yeah. Isn't he?
I thought so. Let's see. Everyone thinks Michael's the youngest male member. Well, Janet was the youngest person, but now it turns out he wasn't. It was Randy. Randy was at Michael's memorial service.
Randy was younger than Michael?
So let's see. Yeah, apparently. Do you remember that song? I'm a Barbie girl.
Mm-hmm.
And do you remember, is it?
In a Barbie world?
Right. But it's not. It's in the Barbie world.
Oh.
But I remember it
hard
being
to
in a
distinguish.
Barbie world. And it was a terrible, terrible song. How about Deer Hunter or The Deer Hunter? The movie from 1978.
I always thought it was the Deer Hunter.
And you would be correct. Singing in the Rain or Singing in the Rain.
I think when I'm remembering how it sounds, I think it's singing in the rain, but we've always said singing in the rain. Kitty!
Kitty! Stop headbutting the microphone. You are correct.
You are correct, sir.
Do you remember that song, In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins?
Yep.
Okay. And you know, he says, I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Does he say, hold on, or oh Lord?
I always thought it was hold on.
It's oh Lord.
Wow.
That's one thing with music, is that with maybe the cover of a cereal box, you can get that wrong. Or maybe...
I think our brains are kind of working towards figuring out what people are saying. And if your brain registers it like one way, you might automatically just hear it that way over and over again. Then when you finally know the real word, then you hear it.
Right.
Right? So I think it's like a trick of the brain in some instances. You just...
Let me ask you this. You're a Capricorn.
Yeah.
Is your symbol the sign of a goat?
That's what I thought it was.
That's what I thought it was.
Okay.
Stubborn as a goat. But you know what you are? You're a goatfish.
A goatfish?
Apparently, that's what they're saying. We Mandela'd into a goatfish.
That's our next episode, Becky. Goatfish.
Did Dirty Harry say, do you feel lucky, punk? Or did he say, do I feel lucky?
I always thought it was the first one.
Yeah, it's not. It's do I feel lucky. What? How does that even make sense? Do I feel lucky?
It's like he's talking to himself.
Yeah, I know. I know. Humpty Dumpty, you know, he fell off a wall. He had a great fall. Mm-hmm. All the king's horses and king's men couldn't put him back together again. What was he?
Well, we always pictured him as a big egg. So I don't know what he is.
I don't think we pictured him. I think he was depicted as a damn egg, right?
Yeah.
He's not an egg, Steph. He's not an egg. What is he? What is he? Why don't you tell us what he is then? I can tell you this. There's a whole article on it, and he's not an egg. Doesn't tell us what he is. Well, maybe it does. I just haven't gone through it all. Popeye's enemy. Remember Popeye?
Bluto? Or Pluto? Or whatever. No, Pluto was Disney dog.
Well, was his name Brutus or Bluto?
I always thought it was Bluto.
So Popeye's enemy that we remember was always Brutus. But sometimes Bluto, sometimes Brutus. They changed it.
That's weird. That was probably one of my favorite cartoons as a kid.
I loved it. Mm-hmm. I even liked the live-action movie starring Shelley Duvall as Olive Oyl.
Yeah, was that her last movie that she did?
I don't know. And was it Robert Williams that played Popeye, right?
Yep.
Love him. Love him. Love you, Robin. Mm-hmm. We miss you. What do you got for me, Steph?
Well, because we're talking about false memories, there's another place besides your brain that has a memory, and that is your heart.
I believe that.
So this is an article from Huffington Post, but I've read a lot about this before, and I find this so fascinating and very beautiful. It's just another thing that we can learn about ourselves that I think is very, like, mind-blowing. And it's something I think that we all feel, and people have said for years, like, let your heart guide you, that type of thing. Like, you hear this all the time, but now they can back it up with science. When I was a practicing psychologist, sometimes when I'd be working with a client who was confused about an issue or decision, I'd ask, what would your heart say? I often adapted a Gestalt technique using 2 chairs. When the client was sitting in one chair, I asked them to speak from their heart and talk to their mind sitting over there in the other chair. And I'd have them switch chairs and speak from their head, talking to their heart, telling their heart the mind's views and concerns. It was like 2 different people talking. The heart spoke from genuine feeling and authenticity in the present. The mind spoke from opinions, fears, shoulds, and shouldn'ts. I had them switch chairs several times until they had an epiphany. Very often, the client would realize their heart's voice was their true self, a voice that offered both more intuition and common sense intelligence. So maybe all these false memories is
coming from our head or
our head. I think coming from our head.
I don't know, because I feel music in my soul. And I know at the end of We Are the Champions, it was of the world.
Well, she says, this is no coincidence. What's really fascinating is that the heart contains a little brain in its own right. Yes, the human heart, in addition to its other functions, actually possesses a heart brain composed of about 40,000 neurons that can sense, feel, learn, and remember. The heart brain sends messages to the head brain about how the body feels and more. When I first heard about this scientific research, it intuitively made sense. I had felt for a long time that the heart has its own mysterious way of knowing. Until the 1990s, scientists assumed, and most of us were taught, that it was only the brain that sent information and issued commands to the heart. But now we know that it works both ways. In fact, the heart's complex intrinsic nervous system, the heart brain, is an intricate network of several types of neurons, neurotransmitters, proteins, and support cells like those found in the brain. Research has shown that the heart communicates to the brain in several major ways and acts independently of the cranial brain. One important way the heart can speak to and influence the brain is when the heart is coherent, generating a stable sine wavelength pattern in its rhythms. When the heart rhythm is coherent, the body, including the brain, begins to experience all sorts of benefits, among them greater mental clarity and intuitive ability, including better decision-making.
When I was learning how to develop my psychic intuition, my psychic abilities, my mediumship abilities, I was learning to connect heart to heart with a person. And I was taught to imagine almost like a silver cord or a line that would connect from my heart to their heart in order to pick up and intuitively read. And when I started communicating with spirits, they told me that it was my heart that was communicating. It wasn't my head. And so I found that if I cleared my head and I kind of stayed quiet and used my heart through feeling, my communication was like tenfold. So I believe this to be true.
Everyone's intuitive to a certain degree. It depends on how you can tune into it. As I've gotten older, I notice more the heart sense or the feeling, and then the intuitive sense ends up being right. And when I have followed my brain, which is, more logical about things, it's wrong. But when I've had both combined, like she was saying, when you have both working together in harmony, that's when it's the greatest. And I felt that in moments in my life where the heart and the brain were together in moments, and that's when something great was going to happen. I find this very fascinating.
The speculation that I have is that there was some sort of shift that took place, because there are just way too many examples of these Mandela effects and strange things that have been happening, as if there's been a shift that happened. I don't know if it's a shift in consciousness, an energetic and spiritual shift. Something has shifted. You can see it in today's political arena. You can see it in today's world events. You can see it in the earth changes. You can see it in so many things. So I truly believe there's been a shift. Though I totally believe in the heart remembering, and I totally believe that there are examples of false memories.
There's people who have cellular memory, they call it.
Yeah.
Well, friends, thank you for listening to Rebecca and I tonight, or during the day, whenever you listen to us.
All day, all night.
All day, all night. If you want to get a hold of us, go to thespiritpod@gmail.com.
Find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. You can find us pretty much everywhere. Let's do the time warp again. Bye, guys.
The Spirit
Podcast.
Supernatural Science.
Aliens. I'm ghost.
Psychic. Mystic.
Spirit.
Divine Source.
Heaven.
The dead.
It's magic.